Hello and welcome to Knittin from the Mitten. My name is Tiffany and I'm coming to you from Midland, Michigan, which is also known as the Mitten State. You can find me on Ravelry and Periscope as Tiff Grooms Dogs, on Instagram as Knittin from the Mitten, and we have a Ravelry group called Knittin from the Mitten Podcast. Thank you so much for coming back if you are a returning viewer, and if you are new, welcome and thank you for checking me out. This week I have no FOs, but I do have my usual whips. I have some Cal news, and then we also will be drawing for the gratitude giveaway because I looked this morning. I'm almost to 400 followers or subscribers. I think I'm at 396, which blew my mind. So thank you for subscribing and being part of this group and this wonderful community. Let's see. So my first whip this week is Ethan's Hunting Socks 2.0, which if you've watched the podcast before, you know that I shrunk Ethan's Hunting Socks 1.0, the first ones. Yeah, they were not super washed. They were worsted. They were the second socks I've ever knit, and I accidentally put them in the wash, not thinking. I think they just got kind of thrown in the basket on accident. So these are Ethan's Hunting Socks 2.0. They are living in a little 31 bag that I have. I love this bag. It's perfect for, it's got a little handle. It's perfect for socks, especially if you just want to keep it around the house. I really, really like that. And this, I haven't shown this in a while. This is a little DPN cozy that it's living in. I made this using the, is it Naughty Gnome? I think she has a tutorial. I'll link for that. But this is the tutorial that I used for it, which these things are so handy to keep your DPNs from poking your knitting bag, or also from keeping your stitches from falling off. And I don't know if I ever showed this, but I put these little buttons on here because if you look, well, you can see on this side because this one fell off, but I had sewn in the snaps because I didn't have those little cam snaps, so I just sewed them in and they left that kind of ugly on there, so I just covered them up with these are little Dollar Tree buttons that I have. So, but I gotta re-put that other one on, but that's kind of fun. So I got quite a bit of work done on these guys this week. This is where I was last time, up there, and so I got all the way down there. I did the heel, turned the heel. It's a Fish Lips Kiss heel, which is a $1 pattern. I'm sure you've heard of it, but if you haven't, it's $1. It's a fantastic heel. And then this is about how far I've gotten. He's a size 12 foot, US size 12. I don't know what that would be in European sizes, but it's pretty big feet. So I gotta get working on these to get these done. Like I said, I put quite a bit of work on this, but I really want to get these done by his birthday, which is October 10th. So I started the other one last time, but I didn't get much done on that one because, like I said, I'm trying to get that first one done so I can have him try it on. And then I'll work on the other one secretly. So that's all I got for the second one. So just a little bit. And this is the DPN cozy for this. Super cute. This one I got from Linda, my friend Linda in Canada. And she made that for me. So thank you, Linda. And let's see. Oh, the yarn. Get back here. Okay, the yarn is this beautiful color. It's got greens and blues, some oranges. It's really autumnal, which is, it's been really fun to have a pair of cozy autumn socks to work on. Now that it's getting chilly, which I have the window open and I think it's about like 56 degrees I saw. So yeah, I actually have some knitwear I'm wearing today. It's my Pure Joy shawl. But yeah, it's feeling so autumny lately, so love it. But yes, the yarn is Patton's Croy FX in the Clover Colors colorway. So yeah, there's that, and let's see, I'm using size US 1 Hiya Sharps, which I love. Love, love, love. And that is it for Ethan's hunting socks. So I'm hoping, really, really hoping to have a half-finished object by next time. Which I'm not sure if I'm going to podcast next week or not. More about that later. I'm not sure on that. Next is my Madewell, which last week I was so close to having the sleeves divided. And I got there. I got there the next day. So very, very happy. So there it is. Oh, it's looking like a real garment. So very, very happy. And I tried it on and it fits. So I'm going to try it on again as I go. But I was very excited that it fits. There's my marker from last time. So pretty much just got to, you know, dividing the sleeves and then knit about 1.5 inches after that. But very, very happy. I can't wait to have this. It's not going to be anything soon, but I love it. Love, love, love it. I love seeing everybody's Madewell cardigans on Instagram. I was listening to the Curious Handmade podcast. She's an audio podcast, and she was talking about how a bunch of the girls that are attending the retreat are doing like an informal Madewell knit along for that retreat because they all want to have matching ones, which I thought was so cute. And so she said that anybody can partake in that knit along even if you're not going to the retreat. So I am vicariously living through those of you that are going to the retreat, which is it's in England and it's in Cumbria, I believe. I think that's where it's at, but I believe that's where the Peter Rabbit books are originally from, I think. But oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I saw when Danny of Little Bobbins and Mina Phillip of the Knitting Expat podcast, when they were there in the spring, and it just looks so beautiful. That is a retreat that I would just love to go to someday. So if I ever get to go to England, I would love to go to that country house retreat. Oh my gosh, it just looks so cozy and beautiful. But so yes, I am vicariously, well, I guess I'm not vicariously knitting along with them because I am actually knitting along, but I'm pretending that I'm knitting it for the retreat. I can pretend, right? So that's by Joji Locatelli, and the yarn is Knit Picks. It's a yarn that I dyed. I know I've showed it before, but it's the Stroll base. Here's one of them. But yeah, I alternate the skeins because one turned out darker than the other. But it's super squishy. If you've ever used the Stroll yarns, then you know how soft and squishy they are. And that's a superwash merino. And then the needles are Hiya Sharps, size US 4, which I love. And I want to have all the Hiya Sharps ever. All of them. Let's see, that and Chow Goose. Yep, that's what I want. Next is my Spring Dream socks. So not much different than last week, but I am ready to add in the heel, so I figured I'd show it anyways. So there's where my little marker was in that green stripe. And yeah, I just measured it. It's right at 6 inches from cuff to bottom of the leg. And I feel like that's generally what I do for my socks. I'm curious to know what you guys do. Do you guys do a lot longer of a leg, a lot shorter of a leg? When I made my Hermione's Everyday Socks, I really liked the leg length of that. So, and that doesn't go by inches, it just goes by pattern repeats. So I just measured what that was, and I found out it was 6 inches. So that's what I've been doing. So I don't know. I was just kind of curious to see what you guys do. I'm curious about that. But the yarn that I'm going to use for the heel is Knit Pick Stroll. It's some yellow that I had, left over from when I knit Ethan some Green Bay Packers socks that are yellow and green. and I think that'll look really nice. That'll look really nice as a heel. So hoping to have that put in next time, so that way I can go back to having those as, you know, going to the movies socks, or need something to just do stockinette on socks. Last but not least, although I have one other whip, but I'll talk about that in the knit along. But last but not least, as far as these go, is my Cozy Memories. Just in my Martha Stewart bag, nice sturdy cotton bag, and didn't add a ton, but still plugging away on it. Let's see here, get all my. I feel like I'm always in the middle of a square when I show this, and I was gonna try and get this done, but I just wanted to get going on the recording, so I was like, oh, I'll just finish it later. So yay, there we are. I don't remember if I had finished this purple one or if it was the gray one. I think I had already finished the purple one. The purple and the gray are the same color, or the same yarn, but this is the gray one. So I finished this. This is Wool Like. It's actually an acrylic yarn, but you would never know it. It's so soft. I mean, it's not the same as wool, obviously, but it's really, really soft. It's not your usual acrylic, for sure. It's from Michaels, but yeah, it's called Wool Like. It's actually a 3-ply, so it's very thin. So I had knit a pair of socks with it before, with the purple one, and they just turned out a little bit too small. So I don't think I'll be using that for socks again. But I use this gray in Ethan's sock head hat, and that's been fitting him really well, so it's good for that. And then this is the square I started adding this last night. And this is, wow, this looks so dark. This is Patton's Croy FX in the Cameo Colors colorway, and this is the yarn I use to make my blueberry waffle socks. So yeah, I love this yarn. So it's very nice and plump. So loving working on Cozy Memories right now. I have a nice little collection of minis, and I'm set up to do a few more swaps, so I'm very excited. But this is my lovely bag of minis, which you can't see very well, but it's pretty full. It's up to there with minis, so very, this little bag of minis makes me so happy. I just love seeing it. I love seeing the little minis in there. Is that weird? I don't know. I think they're cute. I love it. I love the Cozy Memories blanket. I'm so funny about it because I've said this before too, but I always I really want to knit on it and get further on it, but I love it so much that sometimes I find myself not wanting to knit on it because I want to make it last as long as possible, which I got a ton of squares to put on it, so it's gonna last a long time. So I don't know. Is anybody else like that? I don't know. I thought it was funny. Oh, I updated my journal a little bit, my Cozy Memories journal. I didn't get it finished all the way with all the current squares, but I thought I'd show you. I haven't showed this in a while. So this is, I'll show you the journal first. This is what it looks like. It's this really nice leather kind of embroidered stitch. It's got this really nice cord that goes around it, which my best friend Stephanie gave me for my birthday when I wrote it in here, my 19th birthday. So 2008. Wow, that was a long time ago. But I love this for a Cozy Memories notebook journal. I just love it. So I just put little scraps of the yarn after I've done it, and with a little washi tape, and then I just write a little bit about it. So I put what the yarn is, the colorway. Sometimes I'll put the base if I know the base, and then I put down here who it's from. So this is the Cozy Knitter in the Cupcakes colorway, which is the self-striping. So self-striping is hard to put in here because sometimes it doesn't look a thing like the square. So I try to put a big hunk of that. This was given to me by Linda as part of the Grocery Girls mini skein swap. And, which I think actually all of these are Linda. Yep. Yeah, so the rest of these are from Linda. who spoils me rotten. I love you, Linda. Let's see. This is the Fiber Imp in the colorway The Crying Dolphins. So it's got grays and golds in it. Once again, give it my Linda. Which, Linda, I have been gathering goodies for your package. I have not sent it out yet, and I'm sorry about that, but I promise you, and I will let you know when it's on the way. This is Mud Punch in the Harry Hudson colorway, and I put the colors that are in, this was a self-striping, so I put the colors that were in it as well so that I knew, you know, if I was looking at the blanket. This is the Woolen Rabbit in the colorway Flapper Jane, which is a really pretty corally color. This is Indigo Dragonfly in the Hell Mouthwash colorway, which is a merino cashmere nylon. This is Three Dog Knits in the colorway Grape Jelly. I think that's the, oh no, I got two more. Sweet Georgia Tough Love Sock in the Rogue colorway, which also is really dark right now, but it's a lot of like maroony, burgundy, purple, like a plum purple, and like a greenish gold. And then this is Madeline Tosh Feather in the colorway Soul, which is a single. This is really pretty gold color. So, like I said, it's not completely up to date with all of the squares that I have, but I had quite a few that I needed to update, so I'm very happy to keep up with that. But I love this. I love having a little journal. I think I first saw it on Adelaide Cottage. I don't know if she's still doing it, but I remember a while ago she said that she was journaling her Cozy Memories blanket, and I thought that was such a cool idea, so I'm really glad I started that. So that's it for my whips, and next I'm going to talk about our knit along. Okay, so for our knit along news this week, I looked at the calendar this morning and realized that it ends this Friday. So that's pretty crazy. That came up quicker than I thought. And so I noticed, I think there's about 50 finished projects or so. So fantastic. You guys are doing amazing. And so if anybody is participating in that knit along, it ends this Friday. I'll probably close it. Oh, I think I said before, I'll close it Saturday morning, so you have enough time to, you know, get your projects in. That way, you know, people out on the West Coast will have time to get theirs in. So yeah, ends this Friday. Co-hosted by Catherine of LuCookie Knits podcast. Hi, Catherine. And I'm knitting the On the Spice Market shawl by Melanie Berg, which will not be finished by Friday. I will tell you that. But here's what I got done. I worked a little bit on this over the weekend. We had a wedding that my husband was in, which, oh, I forgot to mention that on my, excuse me, on my Spring Dream socks. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that I was a total nerd, and I brought my knitting to the reception because I knew nobody there. I knew the bride and groom and my husband. My husband was in the bridal party, so there was a good hour that they weren't back from taking pictures yet. And so I was sitting there by myself at like one of the back tables. I didn't know anybody. And I like brought in my little knitting bag in my purse, and like I kind of like zipped it up and like kept it in my purse and like sat there in my lap knitting on my sock. But I hope it didn't look too weird or, you know, super social outcast, but I couldn't imagine just sitting there and I'd be going, I wish I had my knitting, I wish I had my knitting. So nobody seemed to be bothered by it. Nobody said anything, and nobody really gave me any weird looks, so I think I was okay. But I forgot to mention that, but yeah, so that's how I got to the point where I'm at the heel turn so quickly this week, so I was happy about that. But that's what it's there for. Like I said, it's good to have that plain stockinette so that you can, you know, go to a wedding reception where you know no one and knit on them. So, but that was a side note. So I worked on this over the weekend as well. I posted a picture about this as well. I dropped my husband off. You know, they had to get ready, you know, like an hour or so. The guys got ready an hour or so. I'm sure the girls were there long before that, but they got ready an hour or so before the ceremony. So I was like, I'm going to go to McDonald's and knit. And I did. And cheated on my diet horribly. So this is what I got done. These little cluster rows really slow me down with not having high sharps, but I don't know if I want to buy the needles for it just for this shawl, because I feel like it's a size US 2.5, and I kind of was looking at kits and stuff, like needle kits, and I feel like they're never in there, so I'm wondering like maybe it's just not a super common needle size. So I don't know if I really want to buy them and then not ever use them. I don't know. I can't decide, but I really don't care to knit these little clusters without it. I mean, I get by just fine. It's just, I'm spoiled. I'm used to my high sharps now. I should have never tried them. So yeah, this is the second color in the gradient, but it's really hard to see the difference between that and this. But these are two different colors. It's these two. So, but next it'll be this color for the clusters, and then that color, and so on. So it'll be a little more obvious as I go. But that's my on the Spice Market. I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to get those new needles or not. Maybe you guys can help me decide. Should I get them? I don't know. I can't decide. Can't decide. And the yarn for that is Miss Babs. That's the gradient. It's the Yummy 2-ply, which I talked about last week. I adore that base. I love it. And the Cascade Heritage Solids is the gray, and I love that as well. Super, super soft. That's actually what this is too, is Cascade, this beige color. So soft against the skin. It's really, really nice, and pretty cheap, or decently priced yarn. So let's see, next I'm going to talk about the mail I received this week, which I was so excited. I got this yesterday, so I was really, really happy. But first I'm going to take a quick drink. I am drinking the tea I showed last week, which is Tea of Life, and it is green tea honey mango, and oh, so yum. It's really good in my throat. I'm so allergy ridden all the time that I get a little croupy, and I feel like the honey just takes care of it all. Okay, so I received, well, let's back up. I participated, for the last 2 months, I participated in the Thinking of You swap, which is a little mini swap that is done in the Antonella Makes group. And what it is you sign up and you get a partner, but you don't swap with your partner. You send to the person below you on the list, and the person above you sends to you. So really, really cool. And you basically send a little postcard, a mini skein, maybe some teas, but it's supposed to be something, you know, like 1 or 2 mini skeins, like nothing crazy. You know, just to kind of brighten up your day, to get some snail mail. And I'd forgotten that this was coming, and because it was coming all the way from Wales, and Kate had messaged me, you know, saying it was on its way, but I completely forgot. So I was so excited when I came home from work, and my husband says, "Oh, you got a package from Wales." I was like, "Oh, I forgot." So excited. So there's supposed to be an October Thinking of You swap, but I was just watching Antonella's podcast yesterday, and she said that there wasn't a thread up for that yet, I believe. So I'm going to keep checking that, but if that's something that interests you, you should totally participate. The amazing Seashore Sharon is the one that is in charge of it, I guess you would say. She kind of coordinates it, but she's awesome, by the way. Love that woman. So here is what Miss Kate, and Kate has a podcast, Loop and Bar podcast. So I will show you what she sent me. So here is the little postcard. How cute. And I love that little dog. She said that she sent me the card because it has a little cheeky dog on it, and I just love that. So cute. So yeah, I just thought that was adorable. And let's see, she also said it was sent from her and Charlie, which Charlie is her black lab. She's a sweet old girl. She's so sweet. And here is Kate's card. And she's going to be selling bags on Etsy soon, so I cannot wait till she opens her shop because I want to get one really bad. This is the little mini she sent me, which I adore, and it looks like that same type of base that the Miss Babs yarn is. This isn't Miss Babs, but it's like got that very high twist to it. Oh, I love it. These are totally my colors. It's like a dusty rose. Oh, so pretty. She said what the yarn is in here on the little postcard. Fiber Spates, I think that's how you say it. Fiber Spates and Vivacious. It's a 4-ply in the Spiced Plum colorway. And she said that she's knitting her Be Kind shawl in that yarn. So I thought that was so sweet of her to share that, you know, with from a project that, you know, she's currently working on right now, that she would be, you know, that she took from the yarn that she's working on. I don't know if that makes any sense, but this, oh, I was so excited to see this. This is some hand cream, farmer's hand cream, which I love. Her husband is a farmer. They live on a farm in Wales, and it is Welsh lavender, and I think she said this is made, yep, it's made in Wales, and I don't know if I can't remember if she said it's from her town or not. Let me see. Okay, nope, it doesn't say if it's from her town or not, but how cool is that? Oh, so neat. She says that she uses it a lot as well. And then these are the teas that she sent me. Oh, how cute. I love this package. I just think that's so pretty. And yeah, rose lemonade. So these both look excellent. So good. This was such a fun package to open up because it just smelled amazing. So thank you, Miss Kate, for that lovely package. It was such a lovely surprise to get yesterday. And that's it for mail. And I'm going to pause it, and I am going to start back up with a question that I received in the Ravelry group. Okay, so I think instead of answering the Ravelry question that I had, I think first I'm actually going to announce the giveaway, because while I paused this, I did the random number generator. Now I'm just so excited to tell you guys who won, so I'm like, I'm just going to do this first because I'm just so excited. So the gratitude giveaway that I had is this lovely yarn from Serenity Farms here in Elma, Michigan, which I raved about in the last couple episodes. And it is a all 100% Corriedale sport weight, and it's woolen spun. And it is ever so woolly and lovely and squishy, and oh, I'm just so excited. And it is Gravel Road at Dark is the name of the colorway. And these are from the Sheep Castle in Ainsley, and it's about 250 yards. So yay, pretty yarn. So like I said, on the break I just did, I went on random number generator, and I drew for the prize, which I'm actually going to bring up the thread really quick. And it was number 5, which is the ever lovely Sarah of the Dabbling Shepherdess podcast. And her Ravelry name is Sheps3. And she said that, oh, and the prompt for the giveaway was, what is your most prized yarn that you have in your stash? So she said, it is all my precious, especially the yarns I bought before moving from Washington. She says, oh, I was so nervous packing those up and shipping them off. All arrived safe and sound, but my black trillium fibers are the ones I love the most because silk. I'm actually using them now and will hopefully have quite a bit left over of at least one color to use again. So yay, I was so happy when I saw that it was Sarah, because she's one of my good podcasting friends, and so I thought that was really neat. So thank you everybody who entered, and if you did not win, if you are participating in the knit along, I will be drawing prizes for that within either the next week or the week after. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to be podcasting next week or not. So go ahead and enter that. There's also a prize for the chatter thread for the knit along, which is the Tulsi socks by the Wool Club. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. If you're almost done with your project, get them entered. So congratulations, Miss Sarah. And if you don't see this episode within a week or so, then I'll get a hold of you. But I know that you're a regular viewer, so I'm gonna let you find out on your own. So because it's just so much fun. Okay, so the question that I received this week, it was on our Ravelry group, which I'm gonna bring up real quick. And let's see here. I thought this would be a good one to answer on the podcast. It is from Anvita, I believe is how you say your name. Sorry if I butchered that. But she said, how did the idea of hosting a knitting podcast come to you? Is it something that you had always wanted to do? Were you a regular viewer of other podcasts and got inspired by them? Do share your story. So I thought this was a really neat question. I started listening to podcasts about a year ago. Just before that, I had a commute to my job. I had quite a big commute, about 40 minutes. It's not the worst, but so I would listen to audio podcasts that they were dog grooming audio podcasts, and there's not that many of those. There's, I think, one. There's one, and then there was like a dog grooming forum that had like interviews with some like pretty big name dog groomers in the industry. So I would listen to those, but those weren't very like regular. They were maybe like a couple times a year, and so I enjoyed listening to those. That was really before I got really into knitting. So I didn't even know there was such a thing as knitting podcasts. And I would listen to those, and well, then I was able to transfer to a closer store. So now I have a 10-minute commute, which is really nice. But I remember I was walking Ella last summer, and I was like, man, I really feel like listening to a podcast. And I had started to really get into knitting. And I was like, I used to listen to the dog grooming ones. I wonder if there's knitting podcasts, which of course there are. And I Googled knitting podcasts, and the first one that I found was the two Knitlit chicks, and I still listen to them. And they are a mother-daughter duo out of California. And I remember listening to them when I would drive to go visit my mom, who's about a half hour away. And I was like, oh, this is fun. I really like listening to these. And I remember they talked about a woman named Susan B. Anderson. And I don't remember what they even said about her. I don't know if it was a pattern or if it was a technique that she had. And so I went to their show notes and I found out who this Susan B. Anderson person was. And I clicked the link and it took me to her blog. And her blog, I'm sure is full of amazing information. And I remember one of the blog posts that she had had her video podcast in it. I was like, a video podcast? What is this business? So I went and checked that out, and I was like hooked. I was so hooked. And it was cool to be able to see what she was working on. It was cool to sorry about that, just had to go take care of something real quick. So I was talking about how I started watching Susan B. Anderson's video podcast. And I remember feeling like, oh, this is really cool. Like, it's like knitting TV. And I found myself going back and watching more of her episodes and, learning a ton, and I really loved how she would always show things that she bought on Etsy. Like, I remember seeing she had some really cute, like, wooden buttons or antler buttons or something like that, and I found myself, like, watching her podcast with a notebook and, like, writing down all these, like, Etsy shops, and then one time I was watching, and she was mentioning other video podcasts that she liked, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's more of these. This is cool. And I remember she mentioned mandarins, Melody of Mandarins, and I wrote all these down too, I remember, and Stitched in Sweden, Little Bobbins, and what else was it? I thought there was another one. Maybe that was it. I probably still have it written down somewhere, but yeah, so I remember she had mentioned those, and so I went promptly and checked them out, and I loved all of them. I was like, this is awesome. I loved all of their styles. And I remember watching Danny, and she would mention all these other podcasts. I was like, well, I gotta go check out them too. So I would just find myself like going down this rabbit hole of video podcasts, and I quickly became obsessed with watching them. It was like, I would rather watch this than actual TV, and then quickly enabled by all of them as far as Etsy purchases, and learning about different needles. Like, oh man, I love that. I'm so glad that I found video podcasts, because like I said, I've learned so many techniques. I've learned about so many independent dyers, so many patterns that I would have never found, because I've actually been on Ravelry since 2009. Soon after it started. I think it started in 07, maybe it was 08, but it was back when you had to get an invitation to it, like so long ago. And because I used to go on Craftster. I don't know if you guys have ever been to that website, but craftster.org, and that's how I found out about Ravelry. But yeah, so I didn't really know much about how to use Ravelry. I learned about the forums. I never used the forums on there before. I learned about Ravelry groups, and yeah, it's been my knitting became even more of an obsession, where I began knitting every single day. I knitting throughout the entire year, not just in the fall or just at Christmas, and trying out different types of yarns, gravitating more to fingering weight, and getting kind of away from the acrylic side, which I have no qualms with acrylic yarn. I really enjoy using it for gift knitting and charity knitting, but I have found out I really don't like using it for myself. I don't know if that makes me a yarn snob. I don't want to be considered a yarn snob, but I think I'm just a yarn connoisseur, and I just appreciate a good wool. But yeah, so that's kind of how I came down the podcast rabbit hole. And then as far as starting one, I think I just, every time I'd watch, I'm like, oh, that looks so much fun. Like, I want to share my stuff. Like, podcasts sometimes remind me of just like getting together at your knitting group and showing off what you're working on, and like a show and tell type of thing. And I loved the idea of knit-alongs. I thought that was so cool. And I remember being like, I want to do a knit-along. I got to find one. And then now I've got so many that I can't keep up with them. And, they also got me obsessed with sock yarn blankets. And there's no hope for me. And I don't care. I love it. But yeah, so then, as far as starting it, I wanted it on the fun. I was like, this seems so cool. And it's just a neat way to connect with people and get to know people. And, I feel like a lot of these other people that have podcasts I've become, genuine friends with, because we inadvertently talk to each other, through talking to our cameras every week, and, and talking on Instagram and Ravelry. And I'm just so very thankful that I found this community. Such a welcoming community. Not all communities are so welcoming or as nice, and so I am very, very, very thankful that I have found this one. So I hope that answers your question, and if you have any more, or if anybody else has any more, please feel free to post in the Ask Away thread in our Ravelry group. But as for that, that's it for questions, and next up I'm going to talk about some pod love. Okay, so I haven't done pod love in a while, and I wanted to give some love to other podcasters, and maybe there's some that you don't know about, and so I thought it'd be fun to get their names out there. The first one I want to mention is another Michigander friend, and she is a very good friend of mine, and she's always been very supportive of my podcast and a very nice cheerleader. So I want to cheer her on because she just started a podcast, and her name is Cappy, and she's down in Macomb, Michigan, which is near Detroit, I believe, right? Yeah, huh? And her podcast is The Yarn and I, and that's also the name of her Etsy shop. And when I was on a break when I was doing the drawing for the giveaway, I got on Instagram really quick because I can't help myself, and I saw that she just dyed this yarn called something mushrooms. Oh, let me see. I'm gonna find it because you guys need to see this. It is stunning, and I need it in my life. I'm gonna try and figure out a way to get this, but check this out. Oh my gosh, isn't that gorgeous? And she said that it's going to be up in her shop any minute. So yeah, go check her out. Now that is on her Instagram. She's got 2 Instagrams, The Yarn and Me and The Yarn and I. I think one is her personal and one is her shop. And I believe her podcast is The Yarn and I. Let me just double check. Yes, The Yarn and I. And when you go to look her up, type in The Yarn and I Cappy, C-A-P-I, which I'll put down here. That's the best way to find it. We were talking back and forth about how to search for it. So that's the best way to get it. So yes, that's Miss Cappy, and she just put out her first podcast, and like I said, she's got an Etsy shop. So go check her out. And the other one that I want to mention, she is, I don't remember where she's from, South Carolina, North Carolina, but it's the Crazy Sock Lady, which I love that name, so cool. And her name is Kay, and I just found her podcast. I think I found her through Candy of the Pause for Stitches podcast. She posted on Instagram, and that's how I found her. And she has 2 episodes out, and so I watched those the other day. I stayed home from work on Wednesday. I was feeling a little sick, and so I kind of just laid around and watched podcasts, and so I watched both of hers, and she is hilarious. I really enjoy watching her, and I've really been enjoying watching the projects that she's been working on. She's also got I think 2 little boys, and they're just adorable, and so she's really easy to listen to, and she's funny, and I've just really been enjoying watching her podcast and getting to know her. So hi Kay if you're watching, and hi to Cappy if you're watching. The other one I want to mention is Rachel of Treehouse Knits, and she is another Michigander podcast. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. She wrote in on the introductions thread on my group, and I had seen her name, her username was very familiar to me. I'd seen her on Instagram and in our group, but I didn't realize that she was a podcaster. So I was very thankful. Thank you, Rachel, for writing in the introductions and saying that you had a podcast. So I think she's about 2 episodes in as well. I watched them both yesterday. They're little quick ones. They're about a half hour each, and it's just really, really enjoyable to watch. She just went to a Susan B. Anderson. Ella. I don't know if you can hear Ella, but she's dreaming. She's dreaming. And I'm just going to let that go because that's hilarious. So Rachel went to a Susan B. Anderson retreat and learned the coolest tip. And I'm not going to tell you because I want you to go check out her podcast, but it is life-altering is all I have to say. It is so cool. It's in episode 2. And Rachel, if you're watching, I'm totally going to do that tip because, like you said, if Susan B. Anderson does it, then I'm going to do it too. So let's see. And I will say it's related to socks. I'll give you that hint. So the other podcast that I want to mention, and I don't know where she's from, to be honest. I didn't catch that. But it is the Jenn Sheelen podcast, and her name is Jenn. And I just watched her podcast today. I recognized the name. I've heard her name on other podcasts, and so when I saw it, I was like, I know that name. Why do I know that name? So I watched it, and she does the really, really pretty lace jar covers, which I'm sure you've seen them. If you're a big podcast watcher, but they are so cool, and I really, really want to make one. I think they'd be really neat for Christmas gifts, you know. Oh, I feel like my mom would love one. So, and I would love one personally, but I just know my mom would love it. So I think that would be really cool. And she has a little furry co-host like myself. Oh, I didn't realize it's Benny's butt's right there. He did have his head up there at one point. I don't know when he turned around. But she has a little furry co-host as well, Doug the dog, and he's a golden retriever, and he's so cute. Oh, he's cute. I just want to snuggle his face. So he's adorable. But yeah, so go check out Jenn Sheelen as well. And yeah, that's all I got for Pod Love this week. I think next time I will do some audio Pod Love, because I've been getting into those this week as well. I downloaded the Stitcher app if you have Android. I don't know if it's on iTunes or on Apple as well, but if you have an Apple phone, just use iTunes for your podcast. So, but that is really neat. It's an app that keeps all your audio podcasts in one spot, so you don't have to like go to their website and find it. It'll tell you when they update new ones. So if you're an Android user, go check that out. I've been really enjoying listening to that when I'm in the car. But yeah, that's all I've got this week for the podcast. I hope once again that you guys are happy and healthy and enjoying yourselves and enjoying the fall weather. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.